Time now for Todd's Daily Complaint.
Todd never complains, right?
Right.
Right. That's why we always give him a couple of minutes to complain about something.
You're quasi-evil. You're semi-evil. You're the margarine of evil. You're the Diet Coke of evil. Just 1 calorie, not evil enough.
Hey, look, he can't always be happy. It's time for Todd's Daily Complaint.
All right.
Combing through Joe Lenardi's bracketology.
Oh, we have a sports complaint today.
Yes, as I quite enjoy doing.
Wow. Well, you don't do it often enough.
Joe Lenardi's Joe Lenardi's bracketology has
You've spoken French and gibberish today.
last 4 in BYU, Temple, Texas, Indiana. How are your Hoosiers doing, Zach? Last 4 buys: LSU, Ole Miss, Oklahoma State, and Purdue. Okay, so those are the last 4 teams that wouldn't have to play in an opening round game.
Right.
First 4 out: Miami, Florida, Old Dominion, Tulsa, and Texas A&M. Next 4 out: UCLA, Illinois, Murray State, Iona. If there's one thing about the NCAA tournament that we love, Zach, it's what?
A bunch of games on Thursday and Friday.
If there's 2 things we love about the NCAA tournament, it's what?
The Sweet 16. I don't know what.
It's the
upsets.
upsets.
The upset. That's
The
what I meant. Yes,
upsets.
the upsets.
That's what makes the tournament.
Well, that
Now,
and taking off work on Friday. Yeah.
I understand and I agree that the Final Four is usually better if you have named teams in it. But in the first round, I'm not saying every game we want an upset, but we want to see, back in the day, the Gonzagas of the world win. We want to see VCU get a win and make a magical run. We loved Bryce Drew and Valpo. Yet what are we doing with the teams that are the last 4 in and the first 4 out? We're including all these power conference teams that are in the bottom half of their conference, like Indiana, like Purdue, like Oklahoma State,
Low blow, man.
like LSU and Ole Miss, like Texas. And we're leaving out good mid-major teams that have a bunch of wins.
Like who?
Like Old Dominion, like Murray State,
Oh,
like
wait a minute.
Iona,
Murray State, they might get in, right?
like Tulsa. We're leaving
Tulsa
those
might get
teams
in.
out. They might, but right now he's got them ranked below all those other teams I mentioned.
So you'd rather. So what you're saying is.
I want teams that know how to win in the NCAA tournament.
We don't
and
know-
whether they played less
Wait.
competition or not,
Well, they did.
Old Dominion, Murray State, Iona, Tulsa, they know how to win right now, and Oklahoma State doesn't. Indiana doesn't, and they haven't all season. Neither does Texas.
So
I want overachieving mid-major teams in the tournament, not underachieving teams like OSU and Texas that should have been better and have been a disappointment all year. It makes for terrible first-round games,
You're the
and
guy-
it makes for less storylines in the tournament.
you're the guy who likes the SEC in football. You want the guy who's got some losses on their resume to be on top of a team who may be from a lesser conference that's undefeated. You're an SEC football honk. That's what you just described there.
No, I want
Yes.
the other teams to get in. I want Old Dominion in.
Yeah, you want undefeated teams from. I'm giving a football analogy. You want college football. You want undefeated teams from lesser conferences to get in over SEC team. Is that right? An SEC team with 2 losses.
Well, it's
Is that
not
right?
completely right because we're comparing 2 different sports.
Well, yeah, but I'm giving you the equivalent though.
I mean, I would take an undefeated Baylor over a 1-loss Alabama last season. I would take an undefeated TCU over a 1-loss
no,
Alabama.
what I'm trying to tell you is you're wanting
I'm not.
you're wanting Boise State.
Zach, there's a difference between 11-1 and 12-0 in
No.
football and 24-6 like Old Dominion is.
They're playing the
And
same equivalent of a
17-10
schedule.
basically.
They're playing the same equivalent of a schedule.
I want teams that know how to win.
In terms of mid-major football and mid-major basketball.
I want teams
schedules.
that know how to win in the NCAA tournament. And I'm sorry, Oklahoma State doesn't know how to win. They haven't shown all year that they know how to win.
Those crappy teams in those crappy conferences,
they're
Todd, that you're talking about.
They're an average team, and they're getting in because they're in a good conference, that's not right to me.
Those crappy teams, or those teams from crappy conferences that you're talking about with 24 wins also have 6 terrible losses. Terrible. That should count. The teams from the big conferences don't have terrible losses out the wazoo. You're only counting the wins. Count the whole thing. Count wins and losses.
I want the mid-major schools in. It makes for better storylines. It makes for a better tournament.
Storylines.
And it makes for better basketball than a bunch of also-rans in good conferences like OSU, Purdue, Illinois this season. Am I happy that OSU's getting in? Of course, because locally I want every team to get in here. I want Tulsa in too. But at the same time, if you told me you got to sacrifice OSU's tourney appearance to get good mid-major teams in, I want good mid-major teams in. Those are the upsets that we like to see. The team that's a non-name team beating a big school like a Duke or an Oklahoma.
What do you do with this guy? Soy tweets in. Our own Soy, Oklahoma State graduate, Soy.
OSU honk. He is wacky OSU fan.
Did Oklahoma State? No, this is so good. In your face, Lisenbee. In your face. Did Oklahoma State know how to win when they blew Tulsa out on a neutral court? In your face.
Right. Yeah. And,
in your face. Hashtag eat it, Todd.
And by that definition, South Carolina should be in because they blew Oklahoma State out. One game does not a season make. And maybe it's because I've watched Oklahoma State and Texas this year, and to me, neither one is a team deserving of being in the tournament. Again, I hope OSU gets in. I hope they do, because it makes it more fun to watch locally. But do I think they deserve to be in? No. I think schools like Iona, all these other schools, Zach, and here's the reason why it bothers me. Because you can have a great year in a conference like that, stumble once in the conference tournament, and it's all down the drain.
Yeah.
And that's not right to me. I'm not saying that
that's
every
because
conference...
they stumbled 6 times against crappy teams. They had their chances.
Even if there have been... Remember, Utah State, like 6-7 years ago, was like 29-2 and didn't get in. These mid-major teams basically have to be perfect all year long to get in without winning their conference tournament.
Because they don't play anyone.
Because no one will play them.
Well, now there you got a point.
So reward them for winning.
No.
And if they get beat in the tournament, they get beat in the tournament because you know what? OSU and Texas are going to get beat in the tournament anyway. So why not get a team in there that at least won some games this year and deserves to go?
No, look, I've been playing devil's advocate, but truth be told, I agree with you. I do agree with you. But it's so much more fun disagreeing. That, ladies and gentlemen, is Todd's Daily Complaint.